Yay!
Hello, Future Bestsellers. I'm sure the first second of this video is like me going, is it working? So, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are super glad to see you here. Ladies here today, and happy to bang out some words. Me too, absolutely.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have been so productive this week. I'm feeling so good about it. So I would like to continue that on to Wednesday. One of my challenges today is that I have several coaching calls today. And so I'm going to be on Zoom like all day.
Ooh, fun.
And right. I know. So the coaching, like, I love because it just juices me up. Like, I just really, I don't know. There's something about it.
Oh,
I just,
same.
Right? It's super exciting.
Yep.
But also, like, having when you're on a roll with your writing and then stopping to do something else, even if it's something awesome, even if Oprah has called you personally to do an interview on the veranda with her, it's still gonna like mess up your rhythm with writing. So let's just say an abundance of riches. Also, it feels dark in here, but I think it's just because it's cloudy. So lady says, look, Michelle is inside a building.
There's a window with blinds.
I know, right? Now, is that a new van, Michelle?
No, this would be an apartment.
Yay. All right. That is super awesome. And the move's going okay?
Yes. I would show you guys, you know what? When I get real furniture in here, I'll give you all a tour if you want. It won't take long because it's
so
studio,
nice.
so it's very small. But if
it's like, here you go.
If I turn the laptop around now, you would see a carpet and or like a rug and a beanbag chair that Rosa is currently sleeping on. In fact, we could do that. Hey, Rosa.
Oh,
that's all my furniture and this bed.
So sweet. Well, I love your beautiful hardwood floors. Those are really nice.
That's one of the nice things about New York is you're almost always going to get hardwood floors.
Love that. Well, let's do our intros really fast and say hi to everybody. So I'll start with, since we're already chatting, I'll start with you, Michelle. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel before we start writing sprints today.
Alrighty. I'm Michelle Schusterman. I'm a middle grade and young adult author. Rosa, shush. She started growling, sorry. And my On Hiatus channel has a backlist of videos that are writing workshops and traditional publishing chat and writing vlogs.
Excellent. And that's tons and tons of great stuff on Michelle's channel. So if you're not familiar, definitely you want to go check it out. Speaking of channels you want to check out, hi, Story Detective. How are you today? Tell us a little about your channel and what's happening with everything else.
Well, my On Hiatus channel, nearly defunct channel, is the Story Detective, but there are new videos in the works, and there is a backlog on my channel as well that you can check out of writing videos and tech reviews, lots of gadgets and stuff like keyboards for writers. And, there's more coming soon.
I'm excited that hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Daly. I'm super excited that my channel is no longer on hiatus. So I have posted new videos 3 weeks in a row, everybody. I'm super excited about that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm super excited about it. So I'm doing like a little silo on how to write a self-help book because that's one of the topics that I get a ton of questions about. And then I am moving and I'm going to cover some more romance topics, which I'm super excited. The Horror Geek says Wednesday again. January feels like a year of Wednesdays. I feel that a little bit. It does seem like everything, right? It's been going. We've also had, the Horror Geek and I've had like a lot of stuff going on just in January. Let me give you the rundown. So there was snow in Tallahassee where my daughter happened to be, and snow. She made in Florida. She made little snow people.
Oh, that's crazy.
There was snow in Florida. Our washing machine broke down. Our dog had to go to the emergency vet. Another family member got their car stolen, although it was recovered this morning. So there's that.
Oh, wow.
Then my daughter, because there was snow, everything was closed. They like all this. So her car got towed, and then I feel like there was something else. But we've literally had like 2 or 3 insane things happen every week since. Oh, and then of course the
That
Horror
is
Geek
crazy.
has like big weightlifter injury that like he's been to the doctor 3 times in a week. I think you guys should know.
I've seen too many videos of gym accidents. Now I'm scared. What did he do?
He had, well, okay, so let me just set the stage. This is a
Okay.
man who can deadlift like 600 pounds.
Oh God. Oh
But
God.
he had like, but you know, he's not 20, so he like gets some injuries on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So he kind of had like a pulled sort. He kept saying like all like Thanksgiving, Christmas, my butt really hurts, like my butt's really sore. But it just like started to get like really bad. This is a terrible. I probably shouldn't go into too much detail. Anyway,
No,
one day
details.
all of a sudden, and it just like for like 5 weeks, it does not get better. It feels like it's getting worse. And then all of a sudden, this massive bruise, like 12 inches across and probably 7 inches down, appears on his like rear end and kind of his hip.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
lady says when the Horror Geek moves to Pittsburgh, I've got a guy who can help with the injury. Thank goodness. So yeah, so anyway, so he has this injury. He all of a sudden he has this like massive bruise and he can barely walk. So we go to the doctor. They think I'm not going to remember the third one. They think that he's torn gluteus minimus. I didn't even know. I mean, it makes sense because we all know about the gluteus maximus.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
right. So a gluteus minimus, a performance muscle, or there's one other thing that I can't pronounce. And yeah, all bad.
Sounds intensely painful.
Yes, and he can't walk. Like he really he's yesterday when he was recording his because he has his own YouTube channel, which is a lot bigger than mine. When he was trying to record videos yesterday, he could not even stand. So it was like really bad.
Yikes.
So yeah, I know. If anybody has a magical hiney healing, we'll take anything. Magic spell, wives' tale, we'll try it.
Is it just like, is it a typical ice, heat, rest kind of situation?
They're not they're yes and no. I think there's a possibility there of surgery. Okay, so Lainey says performance is what I injured last year. I was out for 3 months.
Ugh.
That's our best case scenario. If it's one of the
No.
other ones, it's like a year. So yeah. So I think we don't know yet. He's got another doctor's appointment today, actually, right at the end of the stream. So anyway, fingers crossed, everybody, for the Horror Geek. Hopefully we do.
No fun.
I know it's bad. It's really bad. And he missed lifting so much. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that sucks. And also I need to know if Odin is okay.
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, he's not in here. Yeah. So yes, it turned out it was a UTI. It was right. His blood work came back good, really good. So even though he's an old guy, they were worried he was going to have that he had kidney problems.
Yeah.
And sorry, I just saw Avi's.
I see.
Anyway, so Odin had it ended up just being a really bad UTI, and we've got him all cleared up. The problem is he is really old, and so we couldn't figure out, like, we just assumed that the sudden, let's say, forgetting where we typically use the restroom was related to the UTI. But now that he's cured, we think it might be like a little doggy Alzheimer's. So
yeah,
he's still in the diaper.
Okay, the diaper. One thing I learned about with Addie, my last dog, she was a lab and she lived to be 15.
That's old.
Yeah, and when she was around 12 or 13, she started, very rarely, but she was having these episodes where I was afraid it was a stroke. Like her eyes would go blank and then she would just like collapse. And I learned that there's a scientific name for it, but it's literally called old dog syndrome, and it's very, very common. And it's like, that's all that happens. They don't have a tumor, they don't have cancer. It's truly but so just so you know, that's a possibility for him, because it's really, really common with old dogs. If you see what you think is a stroke, Try not to panic.
Yeah, we call it McConnelling around the house. Because, sorry, that's a little bit mean, but yeah. So yeah,
That's good.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that happens. That's been happening for a while, like for about the
Oh,
last year.
baby.
He's at like
Mhm.
Havanese tend to live like 10 to 12 years, and so
Uh-huh.
he's in the final stretch, but
Yeah.
he's still in pretty, like, he's very sweet. He can't move
Yeah.
around quite as much, he's he's still really good at doing his favorite thing, which is hanging out right next to me while I'm writing. So
Yay. That's
speaking of
awesome.
writing, who wants to do a
Yeah.
sprint?
Yes.
So
Yes, that was a lot of chatting.
it was. That's okay. I love it. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen here. Da, da, da. Oh gosh, I've got like 8,000. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. StreamYard, sometimes if you have too many tabs open, and I do, will bury the one that you need. Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to start with our 5-minute warm-up sprint. Get your drink, get your documents open, all that good stuff. We're going to write as fast as we can for 5 minutes. And have a lovely day. All right, here we go. Starting in 3. All right, everybody, welcome back. How did everybody do on that first sprint? Let us know in the chat what you guys are working on today. What are you going to be working on, Robert?
I am just beginning the next draft of my book. My read through is done. My notes are finished. I have my marked up script, and I've just begun the new draft.
Yay! Congratulate. You know what?
Very nice.
You know what? This is something. You know what's coming, Robert. You deserve it. Here it comes. We're very proud of you. Yay! That's awesome. Super, super glad. So, Michelle, what are you going to be working on today?
I'm on a ghostwriting project that's due in about 3 weeks.
Oh, good. Fantastic.
But I'm actually ahead of schedule somehow, despite having moved.
What?
I know. I don't understand. Don't tell the universe.
Sometimes that happens.
I know, right? That's good. Just keep it rolling. You're just be like, this is my new apartment life that I am ahead of schedule on all my projects. Or
That's right.
It's 2025. So there you go. I love that.
I
You
mean,
what?
You know what I'm learning? When you're not always so pressed for time, you sometimes get more done because you're just having fun with it and you don't feel the pressure or the guilt or whatever is attached to all that.
That is so true. I am so much more productive when I do not have 800 things bearing down on me, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually so a little bit like in that now where I'm trying to like just get myself out from under a giant pile of work. And I feel like, okay, like, and every time I have like a really great, couple of days, like I have had the last couple of days, I feel like, okay, I can do this. I've got it. And so hopefully we can just keep that going. Abby says from high knees to have knees. I love that. Mary thinks that Dave has old dog syndrome. I think I sometimes think that about the word geek. There are some ways that he's like a 14-year-old, and there are other ways where he's like a 94-year-old. So aren't we all a little that way?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, right? Yep. Yeah, definitely, for sure. So I'm going to be working on my writing project. Can I show you guys what I've been working on the last couple of days, though?
Please.
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned that. Wait, hold on. Let's see if I can do cancel. Hold on. So I think I told you that I have been working on doing a store, selling a direct store. And this is the first store that I have ever built. And I have too many things open. Okay, so this is a teaser, and I'll show you guys at the next break. I'm super excited. I literally have 7,000 windows open. So, well, maybe not literally, but it feels like 7,000. So I'll show you guys when we come back. But I'm very excited about it because it was like one of those things where like, yeah, I'll do it. How hard can it be? And then as I got into it, it was like overwhelming. And then now I'm coming through the other side and I feel like, okay, I've made it. And I know you guys all know that feeling because I feel like that's definitely like a book feeling, right? At some point you're like, yeah, I got this great idea for a story. And then you're like, oh, I don't know, a third of the way in, you're like, this is crap. I will never be able to figure this out. And then you get to about 80% and you're like sailing right through and you're like, I'm a writer. This is my best book ever. And then it's done, and then all the other stuff comes. So yeah,
we talked a little while back about how independent writers need to have their website, and they were selling their books on their own website. Now, I just watched a video from the CEO of the new CEO of Barnes and Noble and how he's rescuing the stores.
Yes,
and they plan to open like 60 new stores this year.
Yeah,
and coming back from the brink, and I guess this guy rescued some other books in like
he
England
saved chapter. Yeah, he has a good track record. Yeah.
So he's making every store look a little bit different, and he's leaving it to the people who run the store to like cater to the local people and run it like an independent bookstore and
I
give
think that's
people an experience.
Great. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
my issue with them only shelving franchise middle grade novels still stands. I think that sucks. But
Yeah.
I will say that every time when we were on the road, every time we'd hit a new town, I'd find the Barnes and Noble and visit, of course. And I
Yes.
did visit a few that had already done that transformation, and the
Mhm.
layout and the way it looked was really cool. Like I think it's going to be a good thing based
Yeah,
on what I've
he
seen.
said he said he wants to make it like all these little interesting spaces that you can explore
Yeah,
within the
Yeah.
store.
it's really
And
nice.
when the guy doing the interview said, "But what about Amazon? They're taking up like more than 50% of the book sales." And he said, "Well, they did us a favor. They got rid of all the boring books like the medical stuff we used to carry and all that. So now we're just carrying like more fiction." And he
I
said,
hadn't thought of that.
I, I
Interesting.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The guy's like, yeah, but they're going to Amazon for more than just medical books, right? And he said, yes, essentially we are selling the same book, but if you come in the bookstore, you have the experience of looking at all these other books and exploring and
Yes.
learning things, and maybe
And
have
it's a
fiction.
bookstore.
So when you leave with that book in your bag,
Right.
you have that experience, and you're going to enjoy that book more because you had that experience reading it. So it's a
Yeah.
better book, in his opinion, for the experience. So translating that to what we said about people selling, their own books on their site, how do we give them that experience? That's what's going through my head. How do we translate that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what else I think, like relatedly to that, is you know how a decade ago we thought ebooks were going to take over and get rid of physical
Hmm.
books, but it turns out the kids like the tactile experience of holding a book,
Yes.
and like bookstagram and having a beautiful book with pretty covers is like very important. I think social media is doing the same for like brick and mortar stores because people want to film the experience of going and shopping for something. You don't film your Amazon shopping experience.
Right.
That's not content. But
Right.
content is going to Barnes and Noble or going to your indie bookstore, and like you can make a cute
Yes.
video out of that, you know?
And that's on every
Yeah.
level. Since I'm like looking up art supplies and pencils
Hmm.
and stuff, have you looked up Blackwing pencils? They made pencils an art form. So analog is becoming like this huge thing across the entire spectrum. People are hungry for physical things now. The more technologically advanced we become, the more we're backtracking to the analog experience.
I love that. And I want to add one thing that I think is going to be really especially excellent for you, Robert, which is that having done a number of reader book events, like reader conferences, I did Readers
Mhm.
Take Denver. I'm uh, planning to do Tropicon, although we're going to have to see what's happening with Mike's surgery. But the one of the things I thought was absolutely insane is that, and in the most awesome way, is that a lot of authors, in particular indie authors, who have all this control over what we can do with our book properties, indie authors are doing special editions for these conferences. And one of the things, I mean, they're doing like I can never remember what it's called. I literally am like, I need to do a video on this so I'll remember it. But you like when you have like the stained or the painted pages, or there's like a design or enhanced artwork with like silver or gold, that these editions that indie authors are doing and selling through their own stores are just incredible. I mean,
Hmm.
they are, and that's
Mhm.
part of it. Like there's such an artistry, like there's so much love infused in these books. And I think I think you're exactly right. I feel like one, it is harder to make content, which is what feeds
Yeah.
all these various algorithms with oh, here, look at this. But also there's something so wonderful about being in a bookstore. I mean, we
Yeah.
all at some point fall in love with going to the bookstore and deciding which book you're going to get. The Horror
Yeah.
Geek and I, for years, bookstore date every Saturday night.
Huh.
So yeah,
That's
right.
exactly
Well,
it, bringing in the artistry. The
yeah.
artistry behind it is important. Now, again, I mentioned the pencils. This is a Blackwing pencil. The eraser
Oh,
is very different. It
hold
Ooh.
comes
on.
with
I'm going to make you
point
big.
guard.
Hold on one second.
Oh,
There you
this
go.
looks cool.
You can
Oh,
buy a point guard that protects the point so it doesn't break in your bag. And it
Yeah.
has
oh,
a fancy, interesting eraser that went out of business in like the 80s. It was popular in like the 50s and 60s
Wow.
because this little thing broke and they decided they didn't have enough sales to continue to repair the die. So they
Mm.
bought the brand for like $300 and now they're
oh,
selling like pencils. you can subscribe because every 4 months they have a plan where they do a different pencil with a different theme, from comic books
It's
to board
like a bespoke pencil subscription box. Oh, I
Yes.
love it.
and you will get a special pencil along with your set of 12 pencils in a glass tube for a collector's pencil. So people are collecting pencils. They're buying all kinds of. This is what we need to do for books somehow. We need
Yeah.
to bring the artistry in. We can do it. We just need
Yep.
to figure out a few things.
I absolutely love that. Well, I think as usual, indie authors are leading the way with these really incredible artistic books. Love. Miss Tex G says that is a cool pencil, and I prefer pencils to pens. Look at that.
Yeah.
Love that. Ooh, Lainey says we're getting new indie bookstores in Pittsburgh, here in Pittsburgh too. I can think of at least 3 that open in 24, 25. I love that.
That's very, very good.
Yeah.
I know. I am excited. Like last couple, well, since before Christmas, it's been freezing cold here. And like that snowed in parts of the state. It's been really cold every night, like really cold every night with like lots of extra blankets and all that. But in the last 2 days, it has felt like Florida again. I've been outside. I wore flip-flops twice yesterday. And the whole time it was cold, I was like, I'm never going to make it. I'll never live in, like, I could never live in a place in Pittsburgh where it's super cold. But then, like, as soon as it warms up, I was like, yeah, I could do it. I think I just like forget how much I hate cold weather.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, you guys, let's go ahead and do our next sprint. We have covered so many things, but I think it's a good idea to like always kind of be aware of what's out there. Hold on 1 second. Let me just get our, oh, I did it again. Hold on. This is all my fault for having too many windows open. All right, here we go. I'm going to share that. We're going to make it big. Let's go ahead and do our first 20-minute writing sprint. Everybody get your little fingers all stretched and ready to go. On your mark, get set. 3.
still hear the beach. Lisa is muted.
Yeah.
There. Well, come on, StreamYard.
We have a new timer.
Yay!
30 minutes.
Hey.
Oh my God, you guys, it was that thing again where okay, does anybody else have this? Like my Mac is a couple years old. There must be a way to solve this, but I cannot find what it is. So here's what happens. In my MacBook, when I open a new window, like, or a new app, or even just like whatever, everything else on my desktop whisks away to a sidebar. But then what happens is that I end up with like 3 sidebars with, with Chrome windows open, and it all rearranges everything. And I can't make it stop. I would love it if just I could open a window and everything else would stay. I'm sure there must be a solution. I can't be
There
the
must
only
be.
one. I don't know what it is. If you know what it is, dear viewers, if you have any idea how to fix this, please, for God's sake, please do it, because it is like literally every single day of my life, it causes me distress, and in particular on the streams, because, that. Okay, so Regina's here. Very nice to see you. And she says, Michelle is in a building. She's in a building. Hello, Mama Word. We're very excited to see you. Yes, I have looked at set. I literally have I've searched online. I can't. I think what happens is that I must not be describing what happens in a way that is enabling me to find the answer, but it's making me crazy. So yeah. Anyway, Miss Texas G says, looking at the timer, looks like an episode of 24. I started watching, I think I was like the last person in America, but when I was sick, I started watching a little bit of, I think it's Prison Break.
Mm-hmm. I've never watched it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of good, but it had like this same kind of thing, like 24. Hello, Regina. We are super, super glad to see you. So let me see if I can show you guys my little thing or not. We'll see. Share screen. Maybe. Nope. No. Too bad. I guess you're gonna have to see it later. I don't know what I have. I don't know what I've done that makes it not want to share. Yeah, I can't do it. Oh wait, here it is. Hold on. I can share it. Okay. Here it is, my little baby store. Isn't that cute?
Wow.
I know.
That looks great.
Thank you very much. So I will not make you guys stare at that. That is what I've been working on, and I am super, super proud of it. Take a photo of it. Yeah. Yes, but it did that in my previous edition as well. So, sorry, wrong question. Yes, it is I am on the newest version of iOS, but it did it on the previous one as well. So, yeah, I know. I'm very excited about it. It was here's the terrible thing, and actually Lainey can relate. I actually bought a class on how to do this, and I cannot find it. I have looked everywhere. I can't even find that the course still exists. I think that I imagined the entire thing. But so I was just like, forget it. I'm going to stop. I could have built the store in the time that I've spent looking for the course. I'm going to just go ahead and do it. So sure enough, it's working. We lost Michelle. There she is. All right. Yay.
I just had to blow my nose. Nobody needs to see that.
I don't know. We did take a deep dive today into the Horror Geeks medical issues.
Hey,
Hello.
I'm not going to say deep dive.
How are you? We haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you have been very well, Tamara. We're so glad to see you today.
Oh, wow.
So nice.
It's been a while.
I know, right? I know. I feel like we have sort of been in our little crazy world of like we were doing our sprints, but like I don't feel as sort of engaged with the rest of AuthorTube as I used to be. Mm-hmm. And it's just time. I'm not putting up. Oh, I have been putting up new videos, but I just. I have a very full plate, and I see Tamara on here. I'm like, oh, I miss you. So I'm very glad to see you today.
Yeah,
All
I've
right.
lost touch, and when I re-engage, I need to set up some rules for myself because social media. Every time I take my little winter break, I'm like, I just need to set up these hard, fast rules and go on there for like 20, 30 minutes a day, do what I have to do, respond to whatever I have to respond to, and then just get on with life.
Yeah.
And speaking of courses, Lisa and I talked last week. I started doing the course in that book called the Artist's Way,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a 12-week scenario that's supposed to help you recover. And last year I had a really productive year, but December I usually take off and kind of refocus myself. And since I was working on a client project, I didn't get a chance to do that. So I was going to take off January. I started reading The Artist's Way, and I ended up taking off like 1 week. And then I got really productive over the last few weeks, and I did like some drawing. I got my manuscript together, and suddenly I just started flowing. So I guess maybe the book is working.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is
It
really fantastic. Oh my God, that is amazing. Robert, I'm so glad to hear that. I do feel like taking time off, if you are really burned out, or even if you're not, you just don't want to get burned out. I really do feel like just taking some time. I also took time in December because I just needed it. I just felt so like, so absolutely. Regina, I'm going to try this on the next sprint. And if you have solved this problem that has been plaguing me for the last however year and a half, I will come and kiss your feet. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. The Artist Way is really helpful. It's kind of one of those things that people either really resonate with the book or they really don't.
Yeah, and there's exercises, and sometimes doing the exercises because you have to write like what they call morning pages. So it's three
Right.
pages a day where you're just like blabbing, this stream of consciousness. So some of what you're blabbing about is stuff that's, not what you would prefer to think about. But at the end of the week, you look at it and it's like, okay, I am clicking on some levels just by getting this out of my system and coming to terms with certain things. So it is a recovery process.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I feel like it's time to do some more sprints.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Let's see. I got the timer up. All right, there we go. Ta-da. All right, everybody. Let's go ahead with our next 20-minute writing sprint. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat and we will get to those. I think I had one actually I need to answer. I've been so bad about checking for questions. I will do that on the next sprint and pull a couple up. All right, here you go, everybody. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha. Sorry. That was just me pushing the wrong buttons that time. That was not my wonky computer. That was my wonky brain instead. Good news. Regina solved my problem. The funny thing, here's the thing. It was not, I don't have the same settings titles as she did, but one thing, and I didn't have a toggle for that minimize thing. Like I don't have an opportunity to turn it off, but I could call it something else, which was, I don't know. Anyway, I just kept messing with buttons in the dock setting, and it's not exactly perfect. It still does kind of fly off to the side, but at least I got it so that all of like the Chrome windows are together, and I don't have 78 Chrome windows. And just that is enough to like make it. Whew. Nice. Thank you, Regina.
Hey, Regina, our hero.
I know, right? Okay, I feel like she really deserves this, but this has been the bane of my existence for like months and months and months.
Oh, it's a relief. So
anyway, yeah, thank you. I know it's not. I still don't get like. I can't imagine why somebody would like that. I don't know. I guess somebody who likes their desktop all clean. But I always have 87 windows open. I feel like that's a writer thing.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah. Raise your hand in the chat if you also always have 87 different windows open at any given time. Yeah. The funny thing is, like, when you go back, when you find like a window that has 57 tabs on it and you haven't looked at it for a while and you're like, oh, I remember when I was working on this. Yeah. Yes. You see Daisy like, yes, that's me for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the questions that I was asked this week from a coaching client, actually somebody in one of my classes, was that she wanted to know whether or not she should start doing keyword research for her title. She's writing nonfiction. And I think if you are writing nonfiction, you should definitely know what people are searching for when you're looking for your books. But I also wanted to talk about sort of putting those keywords in fiction, because one of the things, if you read fiction on Amazon, if you read fiction and you're shopping like on Amazon, you will notice that a lot more books have, instead of, with fiction, a lot of times you wouldn't even have a subheading, but now a lot of novels have like a steamy, hockey romance or a steamy mafia, blah, 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 or, some sort of descriptive text that helps readers find your books. So I want to know what you guys think about that. About putting keywords in our titles, even for fiction. I mean, on one hand, it tells the reader exactly what they're getting. All right.
And I appreciate the effect that can have. And so maybe what I'm about to say is a little,
it's okay.
But like I like having silly puns in my title. They feel, or like for middle grade. Yeah. I'm trying to brainstorm one right now, and I'm coming up with all these punny titles, so it's at the top of my mind. But that might not work so well as a keyword. In fact, with puns in particular, you might get people who find the book, but they were looking for something else. So I see how it's kind of counterproductive.
Yeah.
But it's also cute.
It is. It's adorable. Well, I think for I would never change the title based on especially for fiction. I would never change the title based on keywords. Yeah, sometimes sometimes it works well to do that. But I do think that this trend of saying sort of what you're going to get. So you have a title that's, what was the title of the middle? Oh my gosh. You had this middle grade series that you did that had the funniest little titles.
Oh, the Otter books. Yeah, My Otter Half, What'll I Do Without You, Some Bunny to Love.
Right. Yes. I love those. I think those are so. I think those are so awesome. I love those, and there are plenty of reasons. Like if you have a great title like that, you don't yeah. But if readers are searching online for a whatever reverse mafia romance or something like that, you also want to make sure that your book is front and center. So Yeah. So what do you guys think? Okay. So Mama Ward says Watt Patters have been doing that for years. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's true. And there is a real skill and power to making your title like almost like a pitch of your book. If you can do
Yeah.
something that tells someone in the title what the book is, then you've really
Yeah.
pulled off a feat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think there's some real truth to that. Like, and one of the things is, I mean, you guys know I write nonfiction and I coach others to write nonfiction. And one of the things that I always say is you want to put your, like, if you're writing a nonfiction book, a self-help book in particular, you want to put your promise to the reader right on the cover. You want them to know exactly what they're getting, because people read those types of books, typically self-help books, because they have a problem they're looking to solve. So you want to say, over here, my book is going to solve the problem that you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think there's something really,
Titles are an art form all their own. If you can
oh
make
my
that
gosh,
promise or get something that's going to stick in somebody's head, and
right?
then you look up keywords and you can replace one of them with like a synonym that means the same thing, but is it
Right.
going to have that same ring?
Right.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
Michelle's books, it wouldn't work, and it would just destroy the whole idea behind it.
Well, and that's the thing. And the thing is I think a great title, like Michelle's otter titles, which I love, I think a great or and animal titles, I think a great title can pull people into a book who weren't necessarily interested in that topic.
Yeah.
So a really great example, I think, is Freakonomics, which that
Yeah.
book was a New
Mhm.
York Times bestseller for months and months and months. There was a follow-up, and you had people all over the country, who were reading an economics book,
Yeah.
right? And
Including
that
me.
was,
I
you're
read
right.
that book.
It's a great book. It's a great book. It's a great book. There was a little like documentary kind of thing that was made on that, and where they sort of brought some of those examples to life. Yeah, it was a fantastic book. And I think part of it was because you had this brilliant economist and a brilliant writer together, creating this highly conceptual economics book.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh. And so a great title can definitely pull people in. But also a lot of people are looking for books online. We have a lot more of this sort of instant gratification, which is sort of the opposite of what we were talking about the browsing experience in a lovely little indie bookstore. I was thinking, I hope that we're just have a need for a lot more bookstores, and not that Barnes and Noble will once again come in and overtake a bunch of indies and put them out of business. Because remember, if you guys remember, like that's what happened when Barnes and Noble first sort of came on the scene, which was many years ago. But that they put a lot of indies out of business. And
It's
if
the
you guys
You've
ever
Got
saw that,
Mail scenario.
I was just going to say that if you ever saw that, that was
Oh,
like
yeah.
really happening at the time.
Mhm.
And it was kind of a battle, and Barnes and Noble, for the most part, won. There's certainly a lot of indies that survived, but there were a lot that didn't. And I think, they hung on for a long time. And then as Barnes and Nobles and Books a Millions got more sort of homogenized and selling a lot more non-book stuff, all the games and the records and all the other crap that I shouldn't say that. But when they started doing that, then you see like a lot more indie bookstores coming up, or bookstores that are indie stores that are like just for romance or just for mystery, that those sort of stores like found a lot of success. So what I hope is that people are just falling in love with bookstores again, and that we're just going to have a lot more, and that they'll all do great. Oh
Well,
my God.
supposedly
Yeah.
the CEO, James Daunt, said that he would never put a Barnes and Noble in a location where there's an indie store. He, according to what he's saying, is that in this country we have so much space and so few bookstores that
Right.
it's not a zero-sum game where you have to take out a small bookstore to open a bigger one, that there's always a space for a new Barnes and Noble. So let's see how that goes. In reality, he's answering to his backers and
Right. But I will say he did save, he did, I want to say Chapters Borders in the UK, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I want him to succeed, and I hope that there is plenty. I hope that your thought that this is sort of, you know, tactile, old school, analog stuff is a trend,
Yeah.
and or a lasting trend, and that we will just see lots more bookstores, because wouldn't the world be a way better place with a lot more bookstores, especially
Yeah.
like comfy, cool ones. So, all right, let's go ahead and do our very next sprint. I did think that was a really good question about the keywords, though, for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Very. Yeah. Interesting.
All right, everybody, let's start with our next 20-minute sprint. If you have thoughts on the whole keyword situation in fiction or nonfiction, let us know in the chat and we'll discuss. But in the meantime, let's get some writing done. Here we go, everybody. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha. Oh my God, Regina changed my life. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I cannot even tell you guys how happy I am. It still is a little wonky, but it is like the main problem is fixed. And so, Regina, you are a rock star. Thank you so much. I can't even tell you. Can't even tell you. Yes, it totally helped me. You are awesome. Thank you very much. We sure appreciate it. All right. Aw, Shannon's here today. It's like old home week today. Are we having a like tailgate or something that I forgot about? This is awesome. I love to see all of our friends we have not seen for a long time. So I don't think anybody told us what they were working on today, and we only have a few minutes left in the chat. So if you guys did not tell us what you worked on today, tell you what, instead of that, tell us how you did, because we've got about 10 minutes left. Let's celebrate some wins today. This went fast. Did it go fast for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, Robert, tell us what you did in the sprint today, or in the stream today.
Well, I started revising my novel, and I got through a couple of chapters, and so far so good.
Awesome.
I'm encouraged.
Yay! That is absolutely fantastic. Michelle, how about you? How did you do in the sprints today? And what did you do in the sprints today?
I was working on a ghostwriting thing and I got 2 chapters done, which is great. Yeah.
That is absolutely fantastic. I am working on the nonfiction project that has been setting me on fire all week. So I was there and I just got so much done. I'm super, super excited. Shannon is revising my novella, The Florist Budding Desire Fantasy Romance. Love that. Goes to editor on Saturday. Good job. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Fantastic, you guys. That is awesome. I had one good comment, one good question, which was about the keywords, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Mama Ward's got formatting for a May book launch of Darkness of the Devourer. Number 12. I hope to finally finish publishing this series this year. Yay! That is fantastic. That is really great. You know what? We've had like a big day today. We have a lot of wins. I'm super, super excited about that. That is really fantastic. All right, you guys. Any news? I know usually I'm just like rah, 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 through the whole thing. How's it going with you guys? Does anybody else have stuff they want to talk about today?
Well, I'm good. And I'm also looking forward to getting my channel up and running. Speaking of that analog stuff, I'm going to start some supply reviews for art and different analog things on my channel, since it's something that I do. And I do want to start a secondary website where I'm actually selling some art, since I'm getting back into that.
Get out. Well, so this is really interesting that you mentioned that. So I had a big plan that when I finally opened my little author store, that all of my stuff would be together, right? The fiction, the nonfiction, the whole kit and caboodle. Except when I went to Nink, I was sitting at a table of like 6 and 7 figure authors who all already have their stores up and are just having a great old time and doing great. And I mentioned this casually at dinner one night over margaritas, and they are all like, no, you can't do that. And so, because it messes with the algorithm, this is actually the problem with me having one name for all my stuff. So Amazon's like, what the, right? Does she write romance? Does she write nonfiction? It's too confusing. And I have said a number of times that if I were going to start all over again, one of the things that I would do is have 2 separate pen names for my fiction and my nonfiction. I feel like it's kind of too late to do that now, but that's what I would do. So here is what they told me. So they told me you have to have 2 separate stores, like 2 separate Shopify stores. And I was like, no, because I don't want to do 2. But I did talk like to the 2 Shopify expert, or not Shopify experts, but 2 like author direct experts who were at the conference, and both of them said, yes, this is true. So if you, like me, write in 2 completely different genres, that is something to consider.
Interesting.
Or if you're like Robert and you have like art over here and books over here, again, you might have to do that. So Mama Ward, Amazon also hates me for writing multiple genres, but I don't have the spoons for more than one pen name. That's how I feel. I mean, I think like, yes, I would have done that. I don't think I would, like, I know other authors who have like they have like an entire web and social media presence for this pen name and for this pen name, and that I could not do. But yeah, they do. That is one of the problems with books being sold on so much online, is that it's great for readers, but it's harder for like the algorithm. It's harder to get found if you write in multiple genres, because the algorithm can't say, oh, she writes sports romances, or oh, she writes that. Love that. Let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Mama Word says, no idea. Maybe spend next year just writing. I feel like I missed something. I apologize. Oh, Miss Texas G wanted to get info on the pencil before we go. Can you drop a link in the chat before we go?
I just put up the website for the pencil.
Awesome.
I have the first piece of artwork I did with my fancy pencil.
What? Wait. Hold on. I got to make you big. Look at you.
Oh
wow.
That rocks.
That's awesome.
I love the curly hair. Thank you
yes.
for that.
Yeah. So more to come, and definitely it's going to be, like I said, more of the classic characters, because retro seems to be in. I even bought a set of retro drawing pencils off eBay. So as far as, the new pencils and the old pencils and older art supplies and new stuff, the analog will definitely be, I think, an interesting part of the channel.
I love what an art nerd you are.
Yeah. And you can write with the pencils, and I think it's good to have those hobbies or interests merge.
I love this comment from Mama Ward. I don't understand how people run more than 2 pen names, but I know of fellow genre sluts who have 4 or 5. Yeah. Well, I think what happens too is often they'll be like, oh, I have this pen name and it's doing really great. This is something that I encountered a lot at NINC, right? Because you have a lot of, pretty successful authors that attend, and or a lot of just sort of ham and eggers who are like just throwing out everything that they can in hopes of finding the series that sticks. And I'm amazed, like people go, oh, my such and such pen name, my such and such pen name, my such and such pen name. I'm always impressed. Anyway, all right, you guys, let me just run through the rest of our comments. Wow, is it a magical pencil?
It could be a magic pencil. I mean, check out the site. They definitely make pencils in art form, and check out some of the reviews, especially of their subscription boxes, and you'll see it's a whole different world, and people are really into this analog thing. So
I love it.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm definitely going to pick up on that because I find it interesting as well.
Yeah. Well, and you're kind of I'm kind of an analog girl. You're kind of an analog guy. Michelle, you seem like you're, exactly. I don't know what it is. It's interesting. Maybe that's part of why we're friends, or maybe it's something with authors. Who knows?
It's also age.
It's also our age, right? Oh, is that true? 29. We all love the analog, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Same as last year. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and do our outros. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. We sure appreciate you being here every week. We will definitely see you next Wednesday. Before we go, Robert, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
Well, my channel is The Story Detective, where I put various forms of storytelling under my Sherlockian lens to break down the craft. And we're going to look at some tools for the craft, as well as writing and art, in hopes of giving you some interesting things and making your journey easier.
Very nice. Love that. Michelle, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel before we go.
All right. I'm Michelle Schusterman. I write young adult and middle grade novels. And my on hiatus channel is writing workshops, traditional publishing chat, and writing blogs.
Thank you guys so much for being with us today. We love you so much. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Robert. I'm Lisa Daly. I write contemporary romance and nonfiction writing advice. And here on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. I don't know why I couldn't say that today. It's terrible. So you guys are awesome. Thanks so much. And we are so glad to see you. We will see you next week.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Keep those keyboards clacking.